today, Kai. We're looking at 0-day breakdown rolling part deux.
Yeah, it's a great piece.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
you created it, so you kind of patting yourself on the back. Don't hurt yourself, patting yourself on the back.
This has been the most well-received series that we've done, I will say.
That's great, yeah.
Yeah, so your head is off the guillotine, Kai.
So I have free lunch.
Free lunch.
Free lunch for you.
Yep.
Free lunch.
You can even go back for seconds.
Free lunch for you 1 year.
Okay, so a little bit recap from what we discussed in the part one. So part one is a simple rolling. When we hit the certain threshold, we use 50 cents on both sides. We test put spread, call spread, rolling, and also the both side rolling. And we change the profit target from 25% all the way to 50%. But the original rule we use is we target the profit target is based on the original premium. So whatever the premium you collect at the order entry, we use that as a profit target, 25%. Of whatever $5 you collect at the beginning, we use that. We didn't consider the rolling premium into the part one.
Yeah.
And you actually raised that question 2 or 3 times. Oh, is that combined? Is that the total premium? I said, is it going to be part two? So this one, we're going to adjust the position, the profit target based on the total premium. So if the position never been rolled, we still target the original premium. If it's rolled, the total premium is going to be higher.
Yeah.
So your absolute dollar profit target is going to be higher if you roll in this scenario. So why we want to do this? This is kind of naturally scale your profit when we collect more premium.
Okay. Yeah. So what you're saying is so if you sell it at the original at $4, you're targeting 25%. We'll just call it $1.
Yeah.
If you roll up and you collect another $1 on that roll up, you're now targeting 25% of $5.
Exactly.
We'll call it, $1.25, $1.30, $40, whatever.
Yeah.
So you're adjusting for the rolled premium, the net premium on the position.
Exactly. The reason why we do this is because from the last session, if you remember correctly, 5 out of 10 scenarios, that rolling can be the standard iron condor. So it's a mixed signal, but it's a positive signal, right? So we see the improvement. And the improvement came from the higher profit targets, 35%, 45%, which means we should target a little bit higher premium to improve the overall results. So that's why we want to use this criteria this time to see if we're able to make it better.
All right.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so let's jump right into the meat.
Let's do it.
P&L. So first slide is the P&L. We have 72 different combinations for 24 in put spread, 24 in call spread, and the other 24 in rolling both sides. Now this is much more promising. You can see on the call side and both sides, majority of them are green. So 8 out of 10 scenarios on the call side and both sides can be the standard iron condor.
Rolling. On
Rolling.
both sides. Yeah. So meaning rolling both sides or rolling the call side are
very promising.
Are better
in terms of P&L, yes.
Yes, in terms of P&L.
And also the P&L is there are 56%, more than half of the scenarios on the call and both sides, they can be the standard iron condor by 10%. So your final P&L is 10% better than standard iron condor. More than 1/3 of these scenarios, you can beat the iron condor by 20% in P&L. So these are pretty good. You don't expect the improvement is going to be double or 50% more. That's going to be significant, much higher is a different game. So 10 to 20% improvement in the P&L, I would consider that's decent.
Yeah, and just to distill this a little bit further, it tells you that the rolling of the call spread, which I think is the harder thing for people to do,
right,
is actually the better of the two. Like the face ripper upside move where you roll up the puts, it's like sort of, it doesn't really do a ton.
It
doesn't really
not
change
really good.
It doesn't change really anything for you P&L wise. I mean, it's mixed. Rolling down the call spread into the big down move does change the P&L profile for you because you're getting help by the pop and volatility, and those trades typically you don't see the 1 day V bottom back is what this is saying.
This is kind of a counterintuitive for a lot of the traders. Before
Yeah.
I try to do this study, I actually expect the other way.
Yeah, we're rolling up
We
the
should
put.
chase up the market, right?
Yes.
Not chasing down the market because we're afraid of any bounce. It's going to be quick and it's going to be large.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
going to hurt your new call spread.
Right.
But actually, it helps you a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to break down the reason in the following slides.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
So in general, this is great improvement. We see more greens than the yellow and the red. So this is a very positive sign for the strategy, especially on the call side or both sides. So next one is the success rate. This is a pretty consistent of what we've seen before. If you roll, you get your strikes much closer to the stock price. Definitely, you're going to sacrifice some of the success rate, right? You're going to have more whipsaw on both sides after rolling. But the good thing is, if you look into those numbers, these numbers are not far away from the original iron condor. The original iron condor
risk that you had on
Yeah.
Iron Condor.
You're talking about like 1 or 2%, which is
most are 1 or 2, 3%. Sometimes you get a 5%, but that's rare. You see majority of these scenarios are yellow, which means very close to the benchmark.
And when you're talking about that as like raw number of occurrences, it's probably a handful every year.
Yeah, it's
In terms of like that
Very small,
percentage change versus just the standard iron condor, rolling might give you 1 or 2 or 3 more losing trades in a whole year of trades.
exactly
Like
exactly.
it's very, very small.
Yeah, and also the baseline, the success rate is already very good, 87, 89%. And these numbers are 84, 85, 86, 87. It's not comparing between 51% success rate versus 49. This is all above our expected success rate theoretical value.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about the success rate. And the next one is the risk control. So this is CVAR. You see pretty much every single scenario beats the standard iron condor. So this is also falling to the expectation because rolling by collecting more premium is the design to reduce the risk, right? We want to reduce the largest loss, and we try to fight back some of the potential winners.
Yeah.
We give it a second chance by collecting more premium. So definitely, not only the volatility reduce the tail risk, CVAR, whatever, all the risks are reduced.
When you distill this down, it's like almost you're reducing the tail risk by about 10%, we'll say, right? It's going from
At least,
like,
yeah.
going by about 1,400 to 1,300.
Not by too much if you're looking at the largest number.
But that's only costing you a 1 or 2 occurrence off your win rate to reduce your overall. Like you're cutting your tail risk, your max loss tail risk by 10%, but you're giving up 1 or 2% of the winners. Like there's a spread there. Like it's a positive spread between those two metrics.
Yeah, so that's why you want to decide by using these rolling or whatever the mechanism we're describing, which category you want to improve. You want to improve success rate, or you want to improve your risk control.
Yeah.
A lot of our reviewers trading large portfolio, 85 or 89% success rate for them is probably the same.
Yeah.
Downside risk, a little bit change would cost like $100,000 difference.
Yeah.
That's probably what they pay more attention to.
Right.
Yeah.
Unlike you trading $25,000 account.
Yeah.
So this is how you're going to tweak. You can always tweak these metrics and thresholds to see where is the sweet spot you want to land.
For sure.
So the next one is.
Good stuff, Guy.
Oh, thank you. We're only halfway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. So the next one is a Sharpe ratio. A lot of because we have a lot of numbers here. So Sharpe ratio is going to give you a great view on the risk reward. Let's go to the next one. Is it the next one? Oh, this is already a Sharpe ratio. So sorry. Sharpe ratio. Go back. Yeah. So Sharpe ratio, almost 9 out of 10, 90% of the scenarios here can be the standard iron condor. And interesting thing is there are a large percentage of these scenarios, they can improve the Sharpe ratio by 30, 40, even 50%. So this is a very positive sign. We use this. We improve the P&L reward, and we reduce the risk. So in general, this is a very positive mechanics we can apply to our zero DTs. We don't pay too much attention of those number in each scenario. Look at the big picture. Where the green lands.
This is a super high volatility investment. Like measuring Sharp on a 0DT trade is almost
like not fair.
Yeah, it's not. You're talking about like traditionally you're looking at like like stock picking and just investing. Like longer duration is what you measure Sharp on. When you're trading 0DT options,
you know what you get.
Yeah, you know that you're going to have some high volatility here. Like it's a really cool metric. I mean, and it's interesting to see it here as being better with the management, but it's hard to.
Yeah, don't try to match those numbers against your regular portfolio. Just look at the improvement we have in between two different scenarios. Manage without rolling, without rolling.
100%.
Yeah. So now we want to dig a little bit deeper into the reason that, as we always do, right? So let's go to the next slide. So we want to compare a little bit different between the put side and call side rolling. Why it's not balanced, right? Put side behave very different from the call side, especially rolling. So we already see the first two rows from the part one. So rolling definitely can give you more credit premium on the call side than the put side. We see there are $44 more on the call side, and also the premium as the original. The additional premium as a percentage of the original iron condor is 10% more on the call side. And more amazing when I saw this one this weekend is when you roll up your call and put spread, we want to see what's the new distance, like a break-even point between the stock price and the newly rolled short strike. So for short put, the new distance is actually $6 shorter than your original put spread.
Yeah.
So it's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
You roll up, the time passed, the premium reduced. You should be getting closer and closer to your stock price. If you roll right before 3, it's probably going to be $1 away from your stock price. But the amazing part is rolling call side almost give you the same distance as your order entry. It's only $1 difference. At the order entry, the average distance is $28. After you rolled, the average is $27.
And that's volatility.
That is volatile.
That's because you're rolling up the put spread generally in lower volatility than where we started. Whereas the call spread, and this is even more magnified on a 1-day time frame because that 1-day volatility is probably increasing because you're rolling down a call spread into a down move, which is typically bigger than the up moves.
Right. Yeah, just like this morning, I put on a neutral iron condor, and the market rally up to 65 or 66. It's kind of a leaning, getting closer to my call side, right? When the market dips, went back all the way to the midpoint of my strangle, which I should collect the highest profit. Yeah. Actually, the premium, it
doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
Yeah, but
the only reason is increased off the implied volatility.
Yeah, you were probably up like 20 or 30 cents into a testing of the call side, and then you get the reversal, and your trade, you basically lose 10 or 20 cents on that move, and that's just the short-term change in volatility.
Based on the delta, I should make money, but because of the Vega, I'm actually losing more money in the short time.
Yeah.
So this is how that impacts the call and put spread. So this is actually very insightful for a lot of rolling. If you want to roll down the call spread early in the morning, you probably don't need to worry too much about the quick rally. On long term, it works. So next slide. So this is the next slide. We show the frequency of the rolling in different time frame because we don't want to roll getting very close to the expiration, the 3 p.m. So I break down the rolling time before 10 and before noon and all the way to expiration. Majority of the rolling happened before 10. 76% of the time you roll before 10. And another 20%, 24% you roll before noon. So there's still a certain opportunity. Only 4 to 6% of the opportunity you can roll after noon, after 12. So that tells you the premium actually goes away faster. You're probably not going to be able to roll, or even you roll, your premium is not going to be that rich.
And it also tells you the move usually happens in the early part of the morning.
Yes.
The middle of the day, nothing.
We've been sitting, right?
Yeah,
right.
Which has been kind of what it has felt like and has been.
Yeah, and also a little nuance here is in the early morning, we have more opportunity to roll down the call spread This also tells us how quickly the stock can pull back versus the speed they actually rally.
Yeah.
And also the amount of IV expansion you saw early in the morning.
Yeah.
So next one is still the same breakdown of the time. Then I show the success rate and also the average P&L. So the bar actually shows you success rate, but the numbers on top shows you the P&L. P&L improvement. So after this row, you actually make more money or you lose more money. So again, that threshold is 50%.
Yeah.
Before noon, most of your rows, you have more than 50% success rate. A call side, you have definitely more 70, 65, 70, 75% success rate. But after noon, you pretty much have lower than 50% success rate. So if you roll 10 times, 6 times they're losers.
Afternoon.
After 12, yeah.
Afternoon.
Yeah, you can
and
see
it
those.
almost looks like here that the 10 a.m. to 12 roll is generally a positive on both sides.
Right.
Yeah.
So like it tells you even more like by 10 o'clock the move is basically it, is what what is a secondary takeaway I get from this.
Yeah, so P&L wise, so this chart also tells some additional information is, in general, we want to roll as early as possible. After 12, you probably don't want to roll. One reason is it only happens 4 to 6% of all your trading occurrences. No, 4 to 6% of all your rolling. It's a very small number of occurrences that happens. And also look at the P&L. P&L becomes extremely random after 1 or 2. So even the put spread shows positive number. It doesn't mean anything. There are 3 currencies that's positive. That doesn't mean you want to roll for that extra $85.
Yeah. Okay.
So you want to roll before noon. It will be better roll before 10, 10:30. It gives yourself a little bit more time to manage. Even though the P&L somewhere is negative, don't try to pinpoint those positive P&L. Just based on time before 10, 11, that's probably the best time to do it.
Got it.
Perfect. So don't do anything in the afternoon. It's a day job.
Yeah.
Probably just
it's a morning job.
Just
Morning
close
job. Right.
Just to close your position, even if it's a loser.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much everything. So takeaway, definitely rolling call spread or manage both sides. If you don't want to worry about the call or put side, can beat the standard iron condor 80% of the time. This is a pretty good strategy. We tested intensively so far. Okay. Increase your P&L, slightly reduce your win rate, and definitely a great tool to control your risk to the downside. And the next 2 takeaways, after analyzing the behavior of rolling put spread and call spread, we understand how the IVs impact those 2, the premium, the distance, the timing, everything is going to be different. So even though we say this 50%, you probably want to treat them differently because of the IV behavior.
The harder one is the better one. Mm-hmm. The harder roll is the call side, but it's generally the better one to do.
Especially when I only want to sell put spread.
Yeah. Very good.
Really nice. Because a lot of stuff in there that you really didn't think, especially that whole call side discussion. Now, I mean, listen, we've been rallying into this. It doesn't seem to make sense, but there's only been this last couple of months of that, right? I mean, the study was for how long?
3.5 years already.
Yeah.